two. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker room leader. In the chaos, he's the center, turning us into believers.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is Monday night and it is 7 p.m. We are less than a week away from the Elimination Chamber coming up this Saturday night, and you can join the PLE Patrol featuring Chris Best and myself, amongst others, for live reaction and analysis from Chicago. Tonight, it's the Locker Room Breakdown. We are an hour away from Raw, so this is the review and preview show. This is our Raw perspective. Good evening, Xavier. Thank you for coming in. I greatly appreciate you joining me here. Just reviewing last week's Raw. I'm going to preview tonight, and we do have a lot to get to. Last week's episode kicked off with a very, very interesting interaction. We started off with the Usos coming out and ready to do whatever, whether it was cut a promo or have a match. We didn't know what they were going to do. Their introduction was interrupted by The Vision, who I thought were potentially, at least at first, coming out to issue a challenge for the tag team titles. This went back and forth until it was interrupted by L.A. Knight. This did lead to a 6-man tag to open the show. This was just a case of The Vision and the Usos, though. This is how it started. It was the same place, same time type of thing. But then we get to the match, and what a way to kick off Monday Night Raw from last week. This was a Vision-dominated match, and you wouldn't expect any less from a group led by the legend himself, Paul Heyman. And specifically, I want to give this one, I want to call this match the Bronson Reed Show. Man, this guy delivers each and every time he is in the ring. I've said it before, I've said it again. He should have had that world title shot on the January 5th episode of Raw. This was a guy who beat Roman Reigns twice last year. This was a guy who has been that silent assassin and never been given the credit he truly deserves. So big ups to Bronson Reed. Xavier, thank you. I appreciate your comment. This is just fantastic. And Braun Breaker, to his credit, has lived up to the hype, but he's just really been his dad and his uncle. Just a hybrid form of them. They did focus a lot on LA Knight in this match. We, of course, got the obligatory hot tag to Jey Uso, who is one of the most over superstars. And I don't know why they've never really capitalized on that. They built him up. They made him the world heavyweight champion. And then they've shrunk him back down to a tag team competitor. I don't know. my opinion, bad booking. I think Jey Uso needs the chance to be on his own show, his own brand, away from his family. But this match, like I said, was dominated, owned by Bronson Reed. He did hit the tsunami and got the pin. But then the Mystery Man again struck and stomped Logan Paul. On the announce desk before fleeing into the crowd. Xavier, yes, exactly. Reed beat Roman twice and no title match. I completely agree with you 100%. Up next, we had the Women's Elimination Chamber qualifier. And I really don't know what to think on this one. My opinion, they didn't book this right. The wrong person won the match. Great match. 3 very, very strong competitors. We're getting Bayley, who could have been put into the match in place of her partner and gone in for the second year in a row. You've got this new vicious Natty that we've seen in Bloodsport, that we've seen in AAA, coming in to decimate. And we've got Asuka. And credit to Asuka for the career she has built. I'm just tired of her, and I am not a fan. And I think that the right choice in this situation probably should have been this new vicious Natty. Even if she would have lost or been the first one eliminated from the chamber, it could have added more to that chip on her shoulder and the brutality that she inflicts upon the rest of the roster. This again seemed to be a case of any 2 women were trying to take the third and dump them out of the ring so that they could face each other. It was a continuous back and forth affair amongst all 3. I will give them that. They put on a hell of a match. But Asuka winning, for me, it just really wasn't the right call. Lots of counters, lots of kickouts, lots of breakups on finishers, which really, for me, took away from the match. You can't have everybody hit their finisher and have it get broken up. So that took away from the match. I do think that Natty would have been the best choice to have win this, with Bayley a strong second going into her second straight Elimination Chamber. Backstage, we did get a segment as well where El Grande Americano was looking to get an Intercontinental Championship match. And we know that he and Dom have had history, but in AAA, he is massively over and a massive babyface, much like Dom is. So Adam Pearce told him, look, I'm going to give you the opportunity to earn a match later in the night. And this was good because I've wanted something like this for Grande. But where are we going to go? We also saw backstage that Adam Pearce offered a contract to Obafemi. And we are waiting to see which brand he will sign with. We know he's been offered a contract on SmackDown. He's now been offered a contract on Raw. Xavier coming in saying Natty is a first ballot Hall of Famer with a decent heel turn. Xavier, I appreciate where you're coming from. I don't agree on her being a first ballot Hall of Famer. She's got the time in, but her career has always been nothing of significance. She's had a couple of obligatory title runs, one being one in Canada because she's Canadian. What about Alicia Fox? As she is Victoria Crawford in TNA now, Alicia Fox, again, mid-card, probably not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I wouldn't be surprised if she sneaks her way in there one day. And I would be okay with that. She was Chelsea Green before Chelsea Green. I'll give her that. Up next, thank you, Xavier. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you again for joining us here. I greatly appreciate you. It's always nice to have somebody in the chat here on the LRB. We went to a pre-taped or pre-recorded interview of Michael Cole sitting down with Liv Morgan to try and get her answer. And once again, Liv said you were going to have to wait. And we would find out in due time. Anyways, Stephanie Vicaire interrupted this and not ran her mouth, but spoke in Spanish. Dominic translating it for Liv, and Liv left this interview in tears. We don't know what Stephanie Vicaire had actually said. Unfortunately, we don't have a translator here for us. But we did see the arrival of CM Punk, who came out to address his match this coming Saturday in Chicago with Finn Balor, stating that he wouldn't be CM Punk if he didn't speak his mind and piss people off. He wouldn't be CM Punk. He wouldn't be the champion he is if it weren't for the people and him doing said things that I mentioned above. Saying the office was pretty upset with him for potentially jeopardizing one of the biggest matches in WrestleMania history, him and Roman Reigns. He doesn't see it that way. He said he wants to be a fighting champion. This is how he is going to go about it. He got the competitor he wanted in Finn Balor in Belfast. This Finn Balor didn't earn it. This Finn Balor doesn't deserve it. But he wants Finn one more time because Finn took away his last opportunity with AJ Styles. Xavier coming back in here and saying they are doing Finn dirty. He wants Finn to win and face Roman. And then have Finn beat Roman, or Finn's beat Roman before and had to give up the belt. Finn actually defeated Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship and then had to give it up. But yes, Finn Balor has beaten Roman Reigns before, non-titles. And I would love to see that match. I would like to see that match potentially become a three-way dance as well. But I think Punk versus Roman has all the intrigue you need for WrestleMania. We did get this promo segment interrupted by Finn Balor, who came out once again to his old music, flanked by Dom Mysterio and a returning J.D. McDonough. All three of them got in the ring, and Finn even said, "Relax, Punk, we're not here to fight." And Finn, true to his word, held both JD and Dom back, although JD was a little more eager to get at Punk, probably than he should have been. Punk, of course, did refer to him as a bobblehead. We all know that JD does have a very large head. It's quite all right. But it added to that intrigue. We did see later on in the back as well, Finn Balor say to both of them, let me do this alone. Let me go it alone. JD was not happy with it. Is this adding more seeds of doubt within the Judgment Day? Are we going to see Finn Balor split? We'll find out a little bit more a little later on tonight, but we will continue with the review here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. But first, take a look at this.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever wanted your break in podcasting, content creation, a potential collaboration, or help us out behind the scenes, turnbucklestudios.org is the home of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Hit the join button, send us your credentials, tell us how you can help us, how you believe we can help you, and we can sit down as a collective and figure out the right fit. Turnbucklestudios.org, ladies and gentlemen, your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, we had our Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match, El Grande Americano versus Penta, which was something we had all sort of called, speculated. We were wondering who it could be. This was a fantastic match, but you wouldn't expect anything else from El Grande Americano, El Verde, I will call him, and Penta. Admittedly, I was skeptical on Penta in this match just because, again, they really haven't done enough with Penta in the past year and a half. And I think he should have had a belt by now if they were going to pull the trigger on that. But this was the #1 contenders match. Back and forth, hotly contested, high-flying move after high-flying move, technical prowess versus technical prowess, speed and agility versus speed and agility. And this came down to Los Americanos on the outside, trying to create a distraction when all of a sudden one got pulled out from under the ring. Mr. Parrish coming in saying Penta has only been in WWE just over a year. Fair enough, but still, I think if they were going to pull the trigger on putting a belt on him, they would have done it by now. The way I feel about him, he's in the same boat he was in AEW, and that is as an enhancement talent with an entrance. But like I said, this match came down to Los Americanos, Rayo and Bravo, trying to create a distraction on the outside until one got pulled under the ring, until they were pulled out, and then out popped the original El Grande Americano to create the distraction, which did allow Penta to hit the Destroyer out of the corner and pick up the victory. Do we go to WrestleMania with that match? Do we get it between the Elimination Chamber and Mania? Do we get it tonight? Do we get it next week? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but I am intrigued to find out. How do we build up the Intercontinental Championship for WrestleMania? Perhaps the segment I probably could have done without on the show. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Yes, they are feuding. They have a title match this coming Saturday at the Elimination Chamber for Becky's Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee did a great job on her promo saying, there was a women's division before AJ Lee, there's a women's division after AJ Lee, and that is my gift to all of you. Lee did name drop people that she's wanted to face and would love to face during this run back. Even called out Becky Boo Boo, as she called her. And of course, we got the obligatory, we don't have to wait until Saturday. We can get in and do this right now. Becky, of course, hummed and hawed over it. Looked like she was going to get in the ring. Opted not to. AJ opted to offer her the first shot. Becky again declined and walked away. Classic heel move, or is this fear on Becky's part? I'm going to say it is a combination of both. However, I think if you're going to carry this further down the road, I think you have to have Becky retain in Chicago, whether she loses the match via DQ or countout. I think you have to have Becky retain the belt at the Elimination Chamber. And lastly, the match with the result that surprised all of us, the Men's Elimination Chamber qualifier, Javon Evans, Dominic Mysterio, and Gunther. This match started out as a master class in heel dynamics from Dom Mysterio, who powdered out a couple of times to let Gunther and Javon go at it. Loved it. This was that whole power dynamic, and I had Dom picked to win, but this one could have gone three ways. Do you go with the power and the big meat of Gunther to go along with everybody else in the Elimination Chamber? Do you get Dom and the lie, cheat, and steal? Or do you go with Javon Evans, who can create offense from anywhere? And I couldn't wait to see what he could do in the Elimination Chamber. This match went back and forth again. Dom even tried to go back to using the hammer for the ring bell before he got caught by Gunther. And all three of them were on the outside when Dragon Lee came out of the crowd and hit Gunther with the ring bell off the barricade. This took Gunther out of the match, but it did allow Javon Evans to go in, hit the OG cutter, and pick up the win. He pinned Dom Mysterio. Does this now give Javon Evans a title shot? Are we building to a four-way or a gauntlet or a ladder match at WrestleMania for that Intercontinental Championship. If we look at it this way, if you look at it at a four-way, you're going to get Dom. I'm going to guess a Finn Balor, Penta, and potentially Javon Evans. Javon Evans just replaces Braun Breaker, and you get essentially the same four-way we had last year. But lots of speculation as to whether it was Dragon Lee or not, especially amongst us here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with tonight's, with the review, or the preview for tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, please check out our shop.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
And ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, turnbucklestudios.org is your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Head on over to the shop link to support your favorite shows and your favorite podcasters. Wear what we wear. All of the proceeds come back into our studios to bring you a better experience. Ladies and gentlemen, on to tonight, and what a night we have ahead of us here. Let me just pull up my preview. We do know that tonight we are going to get a tribute to AJ Styles. We know that it's sort of an all hands on deck. We know that SmackDown superstars are being flown in for this. Does this get interrupted by Gunther? Do we maybe get AJ to run it back one more time at WrestleMania? Was AJ the guy dressed in Dragon Lee's mask that took out Gunther last week? And where does this place on the show? For me personally, I think this should be the highlight segment as we are coming from Atlanta, Georgia. This should be the final segment of the show. And I can't wait. Who else is going to be there? I'm going to guess Cody Rhodes. Who else from AJ Styles' career? Randy Orton, Sami Zayn. We know, I'm sure we're going to hear from Finn Balor. I'm sure we're going to hear from a number of others. This is absolutely huge and momentous. I asked the question last week, do you go with the smallest Hall of Fame class in terms of numbers this year and sheer inductees, and just go with the class of the absolute best? You've already got Stephanie McMahon announced. Do you announce AJ Styles? Do you announce John Cena and just have those three, because you can still get a 3-hour show out of that for the Hall of Fame? We are getting another return. Where does his allegiance lie? Is he going to stand alongside the Vision? Where is his focus? We are going to see the return of the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Lots of speculation as to where you're going to get him. Where does he fit in the WrestleMania plans? Lots of speculation. We've heard Obafemi. We've been hearing LA Knight as potential opponents for WrestleMania. I don't know where you go with this. I'm sure that Brock is going to have Paul Heyman in his corner, though I was preferring Brock on his own and not needing Paul Heyman on the mic. Do you really want to run it back with Paul, or do you want to keep Brock built up as this heel just as he is? We are also going to get a massive decision. We know that Jade Cargill is coming because she is the WWE Women's Champion over on SmackDown. So she is coming to hear Liv Morgan's decision tonight. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Liv Morgan will make her decision. She will pick her opponent for WrestleMania. And where does she go from there? We don't know. We have to wait and see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit our qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber. And I am going to once again start with the lovely, lovely women. Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Asuka. I can't remember. There is one other. Oh, Alexa Bliss. Tonight, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Raquel Rodriguez. There is a heavy, heavy focus. Oh, and Chris Parrish coming in saying Kiana James. Yes, thank you, Chris Parrish. I appreciate that. I couldn't remember offhand. Do you put the other half of the women's tag team champions in Io Sky in there with her tag team partner, Rhea Ripley? Do you put Kairi Sane in there with her tag team partner in the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka? Or, and this is where I'm going, Raquel Rodriguez, who can go in there, dominate, and be that absolute powerhouse alongside Rhea Ripley until it really comes down to the two of them in there. A lot of focus here on those women's tag team championships with Rhea, Asuka, Alexa. Tiffany Stratton is the only one who is not focused on the women's tag team championships at this point. Same with Raquel Rodriguez. I would have loved to see Roxanne Perez in a match for the Elimination Chamber qualifier, but I do want to send my best wishes to her, as it was just announced the other day that she had a benign mass removed from her back. So speedy recovery to Roxanne Perez, and I can't wait to see you back in the ring, my dear. Thank you. I want to see Raquel get into this chamber, and I want to see her go in and run roughshod on everyone. I could see this match starting out as Rhea and Raquel as the first two competitors, coming down to them as the last two competitors. But stranger things have happened. Like I said, I didn't agree with last week's decision on Asuka going into the match. So I think we need to go. I think you need to get Raquel in there, and it's going to have Judgment Day once again all over the Elimination Chamber. We are also going to get a rematch from 2 weeks ago in a match that ended in a double countout. Maxine and Natty. Where do you go from here? You've already had them brawl. You've had them go to the double countout. Do you get the double disqualification? Do you get them just continuing the brawl all over the place? Or do you end up having to make it a false count anywhere, a last woman standing? Or do you save something like that and build this to WrestleMania? And ladies and gentlemen, I have one more match. But before I go to that, I want you to check out all of our programming throughout the week here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we go TNA as we brace for Impact at 9 p.m. On Fridays, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later that night, we have the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. And please visit turnbucklestudios.org.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. All of our weekly programming, something for you each and every night of the week. Of course, that calendar does not include special events like the PLE Patrol, an NXT Watch Party with Chris Parrish, or other special events that may happen. But we want you to meet the team at turnbucklestudios.org/hosts. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Click on the host section and meet the team. Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, Carl Carafel, and myself. Get all of our socials. Watch our latest weekly live episodic shows, including this one, which will be up in just a little while. All at turnbucklestudios.org, your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. And ladies and gentlemen, lastly, our men's triple threat elimination chamber qualifier. Two of the men who participated in last week's six-man tag to open Raw, as Bronson Reed will take on Jey Uso and the original El Grande Americano. We know that LA Knight has qualified. Austin Theory had his chance taken away from him by the Masked Man. Does the same thing happen to Bronson Reed tonight? Does El Grande El Verde get involved in this to try and take out the original El Grande Americano? And does this leave it open for Jey Uso to do what I suggest? Win the chamber. Go to SmackDown and challenge Drew for the title. Give us that Roman and Jay moment similar to Benoit and Eddie. Or does Bronson Reed go in as the representative for the Vision and just unleash absolute chaos inside that chamber? Can you imagine a tsunami coming off the top of one of those pods? I know I can. Ladies and gentlemen, all of these questions to be answered and more coming up in just a little while here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and Turnbuckle Studios. For myself and the Locker Room Breakdown, from all of us here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, we want you to remember, ladies and gentlemen, the world is better with you in it. And from all of us here to those of you out there, wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.
In the locker room, a guy you'll find loves bad hockey, teams can't deny. His best friend to shut the hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number two. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's the radal heater. Watch my friend